John Erickson here from Advanced Ball Striking. I'm going to talk a little bit today about low point control. It's not something we hear a lot about in golf instruction, but it's an extremely critical thing to have great low point control when you swing the golf club. I was inspired by the last little video that I posted of Gary Player, and he talked about lighting the match, about acceleration, light the match, light the match. But what it made me think about is low point control, and how lighting and striking a match is very much also getting control of your low point so that as you're moving through the ball while accelerating, you're also hitting it crisply and correctly. I recently hit a few balls the other day, and I wasn't hitting it quite as good as I normally would like to. And it kind of went off in my head, let me go check my low point control here a little bit. And I found that, it wasn't really up to spec as far as what I would consider good low point control. So I addressed that issue and quickly solved the problem and returned to hitting the ball well. But the reason that we want to have good low point control, people talk about a lot the face angle. You're a degree open or closed, or you're hitting it on the toe or the heel, whatever. But just as important is having the low point control, so that you're hitting the ball in the correct place on the club. So when I started working on my low point control, and I'm going to demonstrate that just here in a couple minutes, I quickly realized that that was kind of part of the problem of what I was having, was the low point control. My years playing in Canada on the Canadian Tour and getting to know and work with Mo Norman, Mo would always talk about bacon strips as divots, not say, bacon strips, not pork chops. He didn't like hitting down, taking big divots. Everything was bacon strips, thin. He almost like picked it clean. He had the ball positioned right at his low point, or just slightly below his low point, so his divots weren't deep. I just recently reshot my Module 8 video where I specifically addressed this issue of low point and ball position and how to set up and understand all of that. But it made me think again about low point. And so I was eating an apple the other day, and I was thinking, I was cutting the apple, and I've got a sharp fillet knife that I use to fillet fish when I catch them. But I was thinking about, having control of the low point. If I'm going to cut a little piece of this apple off and take a little piece like this, a little bacon strip divot, it's very important that I have good control of my low point so that I can take this little bacon strip divot out of the apple. Quite good, I would add. Now, if I didn't have good control and I came in here and went down into it, took that kind of pork chop, I'm not going to be as consistent as if I'm able to come in here and take my little bacon strip divot. No different with a golf club. We want to have that control of the bottom of our swing, and this has to do with ball position and other things. But one of the things that we can do is to take divots and get out on some grass, or you could even do this on a mat and pick little things off a mat and start focusing on just getting control so that you've got that real precision, that when you come in and you're going to just take that little piece right there, that little sliver. That's the kind of thing that's going to give you the control that you want. I don't care how you swing a golf club. You could take the craziest swings, and I've seen some of the craziest swings out there when I was playing on tour. Guys with crazy grips and back swings and all this, and go out and shoot 64. Obviously, one thing that they all would have in common is good low point control. you have to have good low point control to be able to hit the ball precisely. As far as hitting golf balls, I kind of feel like you need to hit a lot of golf balls at some point. But the question is, do you want to be hitting golf balls when you're hitting it good? Or do you want to be hitting golf balls when you're hitting it bad? And I kind of feel like the time to beat balls and hit a lot of balls is when you're hitting it good. To kind of groove that good habits and whatever you're doing is good. If you're hitting it good, that's when you should be hitting a lot of golf balls. Most people are the opposite. Most people are going to hit a lot of golf balls and they're hitting it bad. They're trying to figure out as soon as they hit a couple of good shots, okay, I got to figure it out. I think it's better to hit more balls when you're hitting it good. Mo hit a tremendous amount of golf balls, but he was always hitting it good. He was hitting it good and hitting a lot of golf balls. Hitting it good, hitting a lot of golf balls. Kind of just reinforcing what he was doing all the time. Good, 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 hitting it good. Probably Ben Hogan is doing the same thing. Probably hitting a lot of golf balls when he's hitting it good. When you're hitting it bad, what I do is I tend to go back and do drills, maybe take some video. I start working on my swing, looking at it without a golf ball, and just say, what's going on here, and get control of that. Get your swing back in order. Maybe do some drills, whether you're trying to flatten out or shallow out, or work on your impact alignments or your post-impact acceleration, the things, your swing plane where you're coming through, your angles. Get that back in order. And then put a ball in the way after you've fixed it, taken some divots, or you're taking some nice, consistent, you can sit there and take 10 divots in a row that are all the same depth and they look the same and you're swinging the club, then put a ball in the way, boom, pretty much going to hit the ball well. If your divots are all over the place, some are deep, some are thin, some you're missing the ground, some are really deep, some are, some are going left, some are going right, you really have no chance of hitting the ball consistently well if you can't just take a good series of divots. I've told the story to my students many times, but I believe it was Bob Rosberg. I think it was a 1960 62 PGA Championship, and he didn't hit any golf balls before he played the 4 rounds and won the tournament without hitting any balls. And that always kind of stuck with me. So I did that experiment myself in the TRGA event in Las Vegas, and I would hit 1 golf ball before I would play, just to see what the ball would do. So I'd stretch and loosen up, take a lot of practice swings, take some divots, so my swing is fluid, I'm not stiff. Hit 1 ball on the range and see what it does. If the first hole was a driver, which it was, I would just hit 1 driver and kind of went a little off to the right. Right, that's it. So I go to the first tee. So now my tee shot's kind of like my mulligan. It's like, okay, I know what I did on the range. I got to get a little more aggressive through it, or really feel a little more commitment to the strike and make sure it doesn't leak off to the right. And just put it down the middle of the fairway. I did that for the entire event, and I won the tournament by 7 shots. I hit 1 golf ball before the round. So I think there's more than validity to it because it actually worked. I was able to do it. So I think hitting a lot of golf balls is kind of overrated a little bit as far as using that to try and fix your swing. I think it's better to, again, work on your swing mechanics. But taking divots is very, very powerful. Getting on some, decent grass, whether it's maybe not just super hard pan or something like that, but something where you can actually take a divot and you can see the divot, then kind of a dollar bill type of divot, a thin kind of bacon strip type divot. If I can sit and take 10 of those in a row and they all look the same, I'm pretty confident I'm swinging well and I'm going to be able to put a ball in the way of that, and it's going to do what I want it to do. So I recommend spending some time just taking divots. If you can get on real grass, great. If not, then I'll show you something that I did today that worked and I think was quite effective. Okay, so here I'm over at my little driving range mat, and you can see there's all sorts of things down here on the mat. So what I did is I just started to pick these things off, and you can see, for instance, there's this little piece of wood on here or whatever. And then my thought is to just go ahead and just pick that thing off. And then I'm going to go down and say, look at this little white speck of something here. And you can't really see it so well from back here, and I'm just holding this with one hand, but I'm going to just pick that thing off. So I can go around here and pick the little things off. See this little thing here, and I'm going to pick this off, and I'm going to pick that off. I'm going to pick this thing off. And I can take kind of half swings, and some of them I'm going to maybe open the face up a little bit, like I'm hitting a little cut shot, and I'm going to pick this thing off, and this one I'm going to put the face a little bit forward and kind of punch that out of there, and just start working on picking all these little things off. Look at little things and just get good low point control, and you'll be able to feel your misses. You know, sometimes you'll completely miss it, or sometimes you'll feel like you came a little too far from the inside or a little bit on the outside, or you kind of lost control of the club a little bit coming down. So a really great drill is just to go around. You could do this on any sort of surface. I could do this over on the ground here because we're kind of into summer here, so I don't water out here, but you see a little stone here. I'm gonna just pick that thing off, or somebody left a cigarette butt here, shame on them for that, and I'm gonna just pick that little thing off. And then the thing that's interesting is that after doing this, I'll find that when I put a golf ball, it's not really good with the shadow here in the way, but if I put a golf ball in the way now, after hitting all these little things on here, you know, I'm taking some pretty good swings, trying to pick these little things off. When I put a golf ball in the way, all of a sudden the golf ball looks huge. It looks like a beach ball or something. So then, you know, if I want to, you know, open the face and come in a little under, or whatever I'm going to do, close it down or whatever, but just trying to make good contact and just pick that thing off. Very helpful. So I spent about 30 minutes this morning just picking little things off with my swing, going around this mat and picking things off. And it was amazing how much better my low point control got. And then when I put a ball in the way, bam, I just started hitting it dead solid, perfect every time. So anyway, just something to consider, and I hope you find this little video today helpful. There'll always be a lot more information over at our website at advancedballstriking.com, and we'll hope to see you soon.